Hello, everyone. Welcome back to day 33 as the Democratic Republic of Congo in Conflict of Nations World War III, and we have a lot happening. So I tried to take advantage over here of Kazakhstan, which has been engaging my alliance, but not me particularly, but my alliance. But initially when I came in here, they still had it so I could access their territory. So I was going to fly in a bunch of troops, shift over to war, and seize a couple of his cities, including his capital, which would completely knock him out of the game, really. He caught me in midstream, shifted his stance to me to war, and I ended up losing one unit. My infantry regiment here was caught and eliminated by a bomber wing on the ground because he shifted war to a war stance with me about an hour before, well, half hour, something like that, before they landed. And that was the end of that. So I've got some other units flying in that are supposedly going to try to land. I'm going to divert them just for the fact that if I try to land on his cities now, that might cause me some serious issues. So I'm just going to pull back with those, not try to go back to his land directly on his cities, because that's just going to be a problem. So I'm going to divert them over here and then try to engage them. We're going to move all these units up over into here. Instead of sending them where they were going to send. So we're just going to direct them over here into China. I don't know if, do we have... Oh, it's a British unit. I'm not going to mess with him. Okay, we've got those, and then I've got a stealth fighter unit, or stealth strike unit. I've got some other, I'm going to split these and send these other aircraft back to basically get refitted, but I will send these over here. And I thought, where did my... you know what, I'd probably move them back up here. I've got another larger helicopter unit. So my helicopter units are going to be effective against his theater defense weapons. His theater defense weapons will not engage my helicopters, so he's going to have SAM units to be able to do that with. Apparently, I have lost track of that unit. I'll find them in a minute. I'm going to move this other infantry unit over into here where I'm staging my units to go against him. I could actually, I think this is, oh, he's got units over here too. And that's on UK territory. So if you come down here into the bottom right on this gear, you can click up here on the second button down from the top. It's like a mat, looks like a globe, and you can toggle between the political view, which shows me red, who I'm engaging with, and light green, who my allies are. So I could actually move over to here, but I really want to be engaged with him over here. Now this is a good thing to look at as kind of a learning opportunity here. You see over here, see how big these provinces are? Well, it takes you a long time to move through these provinces. And if we look back over into here, like in Greece, right, see how much smaller these provinces are? And so your victory points, I mean, this is worth one victory point for this province and the one victory point for this province. Now, if I come over here and I look at these huge provinces, they're only worth one victory point too, but they take me a lot longer to seize. So that's why I like to start out in either Africa or Europe, and you're going to find a lot of players like to start in Europe. And so if you start down in Africa, you get a little buffer and you're able to seize territory and get victory points a lot faster. what was I doing here? I'm going to send him back down here to refit before we start the fun and games up here in the north. I'm not too worried about having a whole lot of support there, to be honest with you, as far as aircraft, because his infantry, all his ground units look like they're level 1. So I do want to use my air units, but I'm just making sure I've got them stacked up to their, optimum hit points before I move them over there. And I'm still looking for my helicopter units. So we're just going to cycle through until I find what I'm looking for. And we are looking for that helicopter unit because I need to basically get him moved up there to engage their theater defenses. Maybe he's already, yeah, they're already over here. They're already over here. So what I'm going to do is fly. See, this is the problem with the helicopters in this kind of scenario, because they are not long enough legged to do much of anything for me. So I'm going to shift him back up into here and see if I can find a target a little closer to where he's stationed at. Oh, somebody's got an elite attack squadron, attack aircraft. Look at that. So really what I need to do is move over into here as quickly as I can, grab some land, build an air base that's closer to where he's got stuff at, and then I can basically do something here. Oh, these guys are just coming in too. So I am just going to move them up into here. Oh, you know what I should do, though? Where's this unit? I'm going to seize this city right up in through here. I really want to go down in through here because they're like we talked about the provinces. These are smaller. But this will give me a staging point to attack his main cities, maybe. Just all depends on how this plays out here. I am shifting. I shifted a lot of my units over that way. We can see them all flying over there. I think I've got one. This guy here is getting ready to fly out. I'm using my National Guard troops over here to basically hold these cities until, like, see this one, the morale is to the point now I don't have to worry too much about that one having insurrections. But I am going to continue to fly units into here. And then I'm going to come down here and look at production. So I've got a fighter being produced here. I've got nothing being produced here. I was doing a lot of cruise missile build-outs here. I don't have any research slots. What I'm researching is the Mi-24 and the advanced AWACS. if I come back in here and look at my helicopters, I'm kind of curious on the range. So this Mi-24 has a range of 400 because that's what's killing me right now. My current helicopter has a range of 400, and if I get to the end and I look at this, it's got a range of 500. So I'm only going to get a little bit more range on the research on this. And if I look at my special helicopter, my what do you call it, your elite one, he's got a range of 450. He's got a little longer legs. This one's got a range of 500, a little longer still, and this one has a range of 550. So we're not going to reach out too far and touch somebody with more helicopters. So what we're going to do is I still need to produce. I mean, we've got more infantry I can produce, more of these combat reconnaissance vehicles. I'm not really producing anything in here yet. So I think what I'm going to, well, you know what? And the other thing I was producing was warheads. And we talked about this. If I look up here, I have 12 warheads right now. I can attack his stuff with my warheads and not have to get them too close. And so I'm going to go ahead and continue to produce more warheads from my cruise missiles that I use on my aircraft. He's producing infantry. This one is producing nothing, but I could use another AWACS. So we are going to come over here and produce another AWACS. We got infantry in there, and we have infantry in here. Now, I do want to speed up my production, so I'm going to come back in here. And I mean, I'm always going to use more electronics right now and supplies. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase. If I bump this recruiting office up, my mobilization speed increases by 100%. And so I'm going to go ahead and increase the... I'm going to put another recruiting office in. I've not got a whole lot going on there. And he's already at 3, so he's producing as fast as he can. This one's already got something there. I don't know if I have enough to do more production. He's already got a 3. He's got a 5 for gears. I should have actually expanded out the production for my electronics. So if I bump him up one more, I could actually start producing more. I could produce my other units faster, but I'm not going to do that. I think we're kind of sitting where we're sitting. Actually, there was one more over here. Do I have enough to expand this out? And I do. We're going to increase the production of the circuit boards down in this area. So that's where we are sitting. And you see there is a lot of chat going on the alliance. The UK's found his bombers, and he's starting to eliminate them. Okay, yep. So we're just attacking this guy in Kazakhstan or whatever he is from different angles. So we're just going to go ahead and let that play out. As my planes get, basically once they get better, I will, as far as my hit point restoration, I will start to shift those over as a support mechanism as well. I'm sending helicopters already over, and then we will start our invasion of Kazakhstan in earnest. Let's look at one more thing. I think, yep, he's still at 31. He is still at 29. So I just, like I said, I wanted to cover on here. So you can see up here in North Africa, little tiny territories. Seize them quickly, go through and rip through this territory and get a lot of, you're picking up, in this case, this one's producing supplies, but if I zoom in, you're always picking up manpower and money when you come through, plus victory points. Now, if you look at some place over here like Brazil, Brazil is a difficult country to play as a beginner. The reason being is you have a large amount of territory. You don't start out with a lot of victory points. You can push south down into here, and you do have a whole lot of these little provinces you can seize. But if you go down to like in Argentina, you're going to spend a lot of time crossing this territory, and it's going to take you a long time to actually seize this territory. And then up here in Colombia, these areas, you can play these up in here. But Brazil itself is a very difficult country. Same thing with the U.S. Huge territories, right? Takes you forever to get across this thing. And if this is your territory and you need to be able to move troops from one side to the other, you need to make sure that your troops are air transportable and then build air bases around, or you're stuck building logistics, putting logistics in, so you can basically think of those as highways, so you can move across this territory faster in case somebody invades you, because you're big and everybody's going to be wanting to try to invade you. Versus if you're some little country and you're next to another little country that has a whole bunch of, provinces, you can rip right through those really quick. So that is a good strategy, especially for beginners. And also for me, like I played the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and I like the Democratic Republic of Congo because initially not a lot of people pay attention to Africa, but Africa is like key to winning this game a lot of times. And also, Democratic Republic of Congo does not have any coastline. I don't really like the naval thing as much. It takes a lot of resources, and you really don't get anything. I mean, you can go off and you can like attack coastal areas and stuff, but you don't really get a lot of anything. But if you have coastline as a beginning player, well, if you have no defenses against a ship, then what ends up happening is they'll come up here and start to bombard your town. They'll kill all your troops in the town. They'll actually destroy all your stuff in the town and then whittle your town down to nothing. And so then you have to go through and build special defensives like naval maritime aircraft and stuff like that to be able to counter that. Well, if you get a landlocked country, I don't have to deal with any of that. Now, if I come over here and seize these like towns on the coast, I'm exposed then, but not as exposed as if it's one of my home cities, right? Or if they do damage to that, they're really damaging my production ability. So that's something to keep in mind whenever you're first starting the game, is the countries you're picking to start as is like a big deal. And then getting into the correct alliance. And so you may or may not want to jump into an alliance right away, but you want to keep an eye on it. And basically what you're looking for is this guy like the UK, who's got a lot more victory points than anybody else. He's the guy to get into the alliance with because he is seizing territory. He's playing aggressively. And as long as you're playing aggressively too, you'll get along and everything will be great. If you get into an alliance with people who just really like this New Zealand guy, I mean, I'm assuming he's the friend of the UK guy, but he's not seizing a lot of territory. New Zealand's hard to play without having a lot of Navy stuff, which we talked about. It's expending a lot of resources that you can't use to seize territory with. And so, I mean, you might get in there, but what you're going to do is have to reach out to this other guy and be like, hey, I'll leave my alliance, and then pick the guy who's like, if I was coming into this alliance now, I'd be like, I'll join your alliance, kick New Zealand out of your alliance, and I will join your alliance. And then he'll look at your victory points and be like, yeah, he's playing aggressive. I want this guy. Always exceptions to this. I played this one time, and the guy who I was trying to get to kick this other fellow, well, the other fellow was his father-in-law, so of course he's not going to kick him. And I got a feeling this New Zealand guy is friends with the guy who's playing the UK. So they're not going to kick you for a friend, right? But go ahead and try and see what comes out of it. I mean, it's worked a lot of times for me, and you just want to make sure you're on the winning team, right? So anyway, that's what I have for you on this session. We'll come back tomorrow, and I think we will be earnestly into Kazakhstan at that point. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do me a favor and hit the like button down below. That helps people find my videos. And if you like to see more, you're enjoying these videos, please hit the subscribe button because that'll help my channel out a lot. So I appreciate you watching. Look forward to seeing you next time. Take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.